So when people talk about the rise of Islamic terrorists or jihadis, the politically correct thing to talk about is deprivation and things like that. But what is striking to me is many of these people are not particularly deprived. They're often university students. They often had lived in...
Yes, indeed so.
And so when you look at those stories of people in London or Paris or now Tunisia...
Or in Singapore.
What do you think it is that motivates? What is the driver?
Well, I think in every generation there are people who are out of sorts with the world. In a previous generation, you had the Japanese Red Army, you had the Baader-Meinhof. The Americans had all kinds of little anarchist groups, some very violent. And in this generation, apart from those who are religiously motivated, I think, there are others who are out of sorts with the world and who adopt the jihadist ideology, not because they understand Islam, they know nothing about it, but they want something with which to fight the world. One European security agency told me, I think a British one, that 1/4 of the people who go to fight in Syria and Iraq are recent converts to Islam. They are not people who are deeply Muslim, understand Islam, and therefore decided to go there. These are people who know nothing about Islam. They are unhappy with the world. And they've decided this shall be their flag.
What is the best counter?
Well, Tony Abbott was here last week, and he said, you've got to defeat ISIS, and that will diminish its allure, because if ISIS is successful, then all the more people will think maybe perhaps the Caliph of the faithful is there and the end of days has come. So that's part of it. But it's also necessary for the ideology to be countered. It's necessary for it to be done really within the Islamic faith and to have Islamic leaders speak up and both put right those who have gone wrong and guide rightly the flock so that they don't get led astray. It's not easy to do. We've had some progress doing that in Singapore. We're lucky we've had leaders who have had the courage to take this stand and have had the standing to keep their flock despite taking such a stand. And it has helped a great deal. I mean, we've arrested 70, 80 people over the last decade since 9/11. We've released most of them. And so far, less than 10 have relapsed and had to be picked up again. So it's not a bad record.
And is it getting worse or better?
Well, most of the people were picked up in the immediate aftermath of 9/11 when we found a big group here. Since then, there's been a trickle, and in recent years, a trickle not from organized groups, but from self-radicalized people. And as you said, not those who are down and downtrodden and have a reason to have a beef with the world, but people who are educated. We had one lawyer. We've recently picked up a student from a polytechnic who was making plans to go to the Middle East to join ISIS and had backup plans. If that didn't work, well, he was going to try and set up a group here and assassinate the president and the prime minister. Well, he's a young man. He's got an education. The system is looking after him, but he went wrong.